You know the exact feeling. The alarm goes off, your feet hit the floor, and the room violently tilts. Gray static clouds your vision. Your legs turn to lead. You grab the nightstand just to stay upright. Most people brush this off as getting older. But understanding why you feel dizzy when you stand up reveals a dangerous reality. Ignoring this mechanical failure drastically multiplies your risk of a life-altering fall. Millions needlessly surrender their independence to this trap, missing out on years of active living. This is a severe gravitational crisis. Beating it just requires a bizarre, 5-second manual override for your heart. I will show you exactly how to execute this hidden trigger. But first, you must understand the violent 700 milliliter fluid drop happening the exact second your feet hit the floor. Picture your cardiovascular system as a complex plumbing network inside a skyscraper. When you lie flat in bed, the water pressure is perfectly balanced. Your heart pumps blood effortlessly from your toes all the way up to your brain. Everything is stable. Then, the alarm rings. You throw off the covers and stand up. In that single split second, gravity launches a massive attack on your plumbing system. Almost instantly, roughly 700 milliliters of your blood plunges straight down into your legs and stomach area. To put that into perspective, imagine a large sports water bottle draining completely out of your upper body in the blink of an eye. This sudden fluid shift is a severe structural crisis. According to clinical data, this massive drop causes your top blood pressure number to crash by at least 20 points. Your bottom number can also fall by 10 points. This all happens within 3 short minutes of standing. Your brain is suddenly deprived of oxygen-rich blood. That gray static in your vision and that heavy feeling in your legs are the direct physical results of this sudden internal drought. Your brain is suffocating for a few terrifying seconds. If you have ever felt that exact panic of grabbing the wall to catch your balance, I want you to comment the word strong below. It helps us see just how many people are silently fighting this hidden gravitational battle every single morning, so nobody feels alone in this. Most pipes would simply burst or run dry under this kind of sudden gravitational stress. A skyscraper relies on massive industrial pumps to push water back up to the penthouse. Your body does not have mechanical pumps in your legs. It has to solve this massive fluid crisis using only biology, and it has to do it in milliseconds to keep you conscious. When you lose that much blood volume from your upper body, you are technically experiencing a very real localized shock. The only real reason you do not pass out completely every single time you get out of bed is because of a hidden emergency defense grid. But for millions of people, those internal alarms completely fail to ring loudly enough. To understand why your body betrays you in that exact moment, we must look closely at the invisible biological sensors buried deep inside the vital arteries of your neck and heart. Those biological sensors are the ultimate emergency response network inside you. Think of them as high-tech pressure monitors built directly into the walls of your arteries. You have a cluster of these monitors located in your neck. You have another set mounted on the main arch of your heart. The exact moment that 700 milliliter fluid drop happens, these sensors detect the sudden crisis. They do not take slow minutes to react. They register the falling pressure in mere milliseconds. They instantly fire a lightning-fast distress signal straight up to your brain. Your brain receives the alert and immediately hits the panic button. It sends a massive surge of electrical commands down through your nervous system. The goal is simple but absolutely critical. The brain orders the blood vessels in your legs and stomach area to squeeze shut tight. Imagine thousands of tiny valves suddenly clamping down. This massive, coordinated squeeze is completely necessary to force all that trapped blood straight back up against strong gravity and into your head. If everything works perfectly, you never even know this intense internal battle took place. You just stand up safely. But here is where the devastating physical failure actually happens. The root cause of your severe dizziness is not a broken heart or a slow brain. The true biological breakdown occurs right at the vascular resistance level. Your brain sends the emergency command to squeeze. The signal arrives perfectly on time, but your blood vessels simply refuse to listen. The walls of those vital pipes have become terribly unresponsive. They fail to constrict fast enough to catch the dropping pressure. Instead of clamping tight to shoot the fluid upward, the vessels in your lower body stay wide open. The biological valves are essentially stuck in the open position. All that essential fluid remains violently trapped in your legs. This means the emergency defense grid has completely collapsed. The main pump is running, but the broken pipes are leaking pressure everywhere. Your brain is instantly left starving for oxygen. You are left gripping the furniture just to keep from falling right over. This mechanical failure is known medically as orthostatic hypotension, but understanding it as a physical plumbing collapse changes everything. A momentary dizzy spell might seem like a minor inconvenience you can just brush off and ignore. However, this delayed reaction hides a much darker reality. When your internal pressure grid fails to protect your brain, the consequences multiply rapidly. The true danger goes far beyond a simple head rush. This specific vascular breakdown sets off a dangerous chain reaction that directly threatens your long-term survival and personal independence, making falls much more likely to happen to you. When those biological valves stay stuck in the open position, the threat escalates far beyond a simple moment of lost balance. You are not just dealing with a brief dizzy spell. You are experiencing a systemic mechanical breakdown that quietly puts your entire future at risk. Clinical research reveals a startling truth about this plumbing collapse. This specific vascular failure affects over 16% of adults living independently in their communities. That number skyrockets as the years pass, but brushing it off as a normal part of getting older is incredibly dangerous. This condition acts as a heavy, independent risk factor for your overall survival. It is a silent alarm indicating that your cardiovascular system is severely struggling under the weight of gravity. The hard data shows this unresponsiveness in your arteries directly predicts much higher rates of heart failure and stroke. It completely changes the landscape of your long-term health. The most immediate and violent threat is the ground beneath your feet. When your blood vessels fail to constrict fast enough to push oxygen up to your brain, your risk of suffering a catastrophic fall multiplies rapidly. If you happen to also manage high blood pressure, the physical danger compounds almost instantly. The clinical numbers prove that combining high blood pressure with this specific delayed vascular reaction makes you 2.5 times more likely to experience a devastating fall. That is a massive spike in bodily vulnerability happening right inside your own bedroom. A life-altering fall is not just an unfortunate accident when your internal pressure grid has already collapsed. It is the mathematical end result of a biological brain starving for oxygen while you try to walk across the room. Millions of people unknowingly walk right into this hidden trap every single morning they wake up. They surrender their mobility because they do not realize their arteries are physically failing to catch the falling blood pressure. They casually blame their age instead of actively fixing the broken mechanical response within them. Understanding the severe gravity of these clinical facts completely changes how you must approach your day. You can no longer afford to just stand up and hope for the best outcome. You are operating a highly complex biological machine that now requires a specific manual startup sequence to function safely and smoothly. To actually protect yourself, you must first identify the exact crucial moments when your internal plumbing is most likely to fail you. There are highly specific periods during the day when your blood volume dramatically drops and your vital vessels are completely unresponsive. Recognizing these exact daily triggers is your absolute first line of defense before you even attempt to move. To pinpoint exactly when your internal plumbing is most likely to fail, you only need to look at your alarm clock. The absolute most dangerous moment of your entire day happens the exact second you swing your legs out of bed. While you are peacefully sleeping, your body is quietly draining your fluid reserves. Medical professionals call this overnight natriuresis. During the night, your kidneys actively filter out salt and water, filling your bladder and steadily lowering the overall volume of blood circulating in your system. This is a perfectly normal biological process. But if your arteries are already struggling to maintain pressure, this overnight fluid loss sets a devastating trap. Every single night, your internal protective fluid barrier is slowly washed away. Think back to our skyscraper analogy. Not only are the main pipes failing to constrict properly, but the main water tank on the roof is now completely depleted. When you wake up, your total blood volume is at its absolute lowest point in the entire 24-hour cycle. Your biological defense grid is completely stripped down. Then, you confidently stand up. That violent 700 milliliter fluid drop we discussed earlier hits a system that is already running on completely empty. Your uncooperative blood vessels simply cannot compensate for both the nighttime fluid loss and the sudden gravitational attack. Clinical data proves how dangerous this exact moment really is. Up to 31% of all emergency fainting cases involve this specific rapid pressure drop upon standing. That first groggy step out of bed is a massive spike in bodily vulnerability. Your brain is aggressively starved of oxygen right when you are most off balance and uncoordinated. If this explanation finally makes that dizzy feeling make sense, tap the like button so this information reaches more people struggling with the same problem. You are actively fighting a severe gravitational battle on an empty tank every single morning. You now know exactly why the room suddenly spins and why the early morning is your biggest physical enemy. Simply moving slower out of bed is not a real scientific strategy that provides true protection. It just briefly delays the inevitable dizzy spell. You need a much stronger and highly permanent way to manually force those uncooperative pipes to violently push your blood straight back up to your brain. Fortunately, independent clinical science has completely isolated the exact physical override sequences required to confidently solve this early morning crisis safely and effectively without relying on pure luck alone anymore. Let us look at them right now. Since your internal alarms are failing to squeeze those lower blood vessels, you have to do the squeezing yourself. This is the bizarre 5-second manual override I promised you earlier. Medical experts call these physical countermaneuvers. But in simple terms, you are turning your own leg muscles into massive biological water pumps. When you feel that gray static creeping into your vision after standing up, your brain is sending emergency signals that your arteries are ignoring. You can completely bypass those faulty neural signals by using isometric contractions. This simply means tensing your muscles without actually moving your joints. The most powerful move is a targeted leg cross. The moment you stand up and feel unsteady, immediately cross one leg tightly over the other and violently squeeze your thigh muscles together. Hold that intense squeeze for a few seconds. Think about our skyscraper plumbing network. By intensely clenching your leg and core muscles, you are physically crushing the veins in your lower body. You are manually forcing all that trapped fluid out of your legs and rocketing it straight back up the pipes to your starving brain. You are artificially spiking your own blood pressure right back into the safe zone. You are not relying on your slow arteries to react anymore. You are taking complete manual control of the pressure grid. Squatting down or aggressively tensing your stomach muscles achieves the exact same mechanical result. These specific movements instantly boost your peripheral resistance. They act as a physical tourniquet, stopping that violent 700 milliliter fluid drop dead in its tracks. Clinical trials prove just how incredibly effective this manual override really is. When patients use these exact physical maneuvers, their standing blood pressure spikes immediately. Studies published in the National Library of Medicine show that proper muscle tensing training can actually improve a person's safe standing time by over 8 full minutes. That is 8 additional minutes of complete stability, total independence, and oxygen flowing perfectly to your brain. You are no longer a victim to gravity. You have the mechanical power to fight back the exact second you feel the room start to tilt. Practicing these quick muscle squeezes before you even step fully out of bed will completely change your mornings. You prime the pumps manually before gravity even gets a chance to attack. But actively squeezing your muscles all day long is physically exhausting. You cannot constantly cross your legs every single time you need to stand at a kitchen counter or wait in a checkout line. This internal manual fix is your best emergency weapon for sudden dizzy spells. However, to safely keep that heavy blood from crashing down into your legs during the rest of your busy daily routine, you will definitely need a much more permanent, hands-free solution. You absolutely need a very reliable way to successfully keep those lower pipes physically compressed from the outside all day long, perfectly setting the stage for the essential external tools we must look at next. Constantly clenching your leg muscles in every checkout line is physically exhausting. While those manual pumps are your best emergency weapon, you need continuous daily protection. You need a reliable way to keep your lower plumbing securely tightened from the outside, entirely hands-free. This is where passive external support becomes absolutely vital for your long-term independence. I am not talking about basic athletic socks or comfortably tight daily clothing. You need authentic external scaffolding scientifically engineered to fight a severe internal gravitational crisis. The clinical research heavily supports using specific medical-grade compression garments every single day. The hard data points directly to waist-high compression stockings or dedicated abdominal binders. These specialized medical tools apply highly calibrated, graded external pressure to your lower body. Specifically, independent studies recommend a targeted pressure rating between 15 and 30 millimeters of mercury. Think about exactly where that massive early morning fluid shift actually happens inside you. Your blood violently pools deep within your legs and your entire stomach area. By firmly wrapping these exact vulnerable regions, you physically prevent the internal veins from expanding. Medical experts call this reducing your venous capacitance. In simple terms, you are forcefully shrinking the physical size of the lower storage tanks. If the pipes cannot stretch open, that violent 700 milliliter blood drop cannot happen. The fluid literally has nowhere to go and nowhere to hide from gravity. It is immediately forced right back up into your waiting heart and starving brain. You are artificially replacing the failing internal pressure with a permanent, tight external shield. The clinical trial results for this specific physical intervention are incredibly encouraging and undeniable. National Institutes of Health data shows massive success rates for this exact physical strategy. Up to 56% of patients using these exact garments see immediate, lasting improvements. Their top blood pressure number safely rises by 10 full points or more upon standing. That 10-point bump is the precise difference between safely walking and suffering a fall. When you combine this continuous external scaffolding with your quick manual muscle pumps, you win. You build an ironclad defense system fighting the dizziness from both the inside and outside. You are no longer nervously waiting for the room to spin every single morning. You finally possess the mechanical power and physical tools to completely stabilize your cardiovascular system. Now that we have clearly mapped out the exact biological failure and the proven physical solutions, we must organize these clinical strategies into a highly actionable plan. This final blueprint will quickly give you the precise daily steps required to protect your brain, secure your independence, and confidently take your entire life back right now. You are fully equipped to take your life back right now. That severe gravitational crisis happening inside your veins is no longer a mystery. You understand the violent 700 milliliter fluid drop perfectly. You know your uncooperative blood vessels are failing to constrict fast enough. But most importantly, you now hold the exact mechanical blueprint to completely defeat this daily trap. Tomorrow morning, before you even swing your legs out of bed, initiate your manual override. Vigorously squeeze your leg and stomach muscles. Turn your lower body into a massive biological pump. Force that heavy blood straight up to your starving brain. Then, lock that fluid safely in place by securing your waist-high compression garments. That 15 to 30 millimeters of mercury pressure rating is your daily armor against gravity. Clinical trials like the Accord study prove this is a highly winnable battle. The data shows that with the right physical interventions, resolution rates reach up to 82% over time. You do not have to be a permanent victim to a broken internal alarm system. You can physically stabilize your cardiovascular system, drastically lower your risk of a life-altering fall, and entirely reclaim your personal independence. There are millions of older adults out there quietly giving up their active years because they think this dizziness is just a normal part of aging. If you know someone who is constantly grabbing the wall or shrinking their world out of fear, please share this video with them directly. Maybe that person desperately needs to know this is a completely fixable plumbing problem. You have the hard science. You have the mechanical tools. Right now, go perfectly conquer your early morning routine safely and confidently without any fear starting today. I'll see you in the next video.